roads, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to Transport Fever 2 and episode 20 of the Land of the Free series in the northeast corridor of the United States. Here we are, we're currently looking at the brickworks at Hartfield. This is what we set up in the previous episode, and we laid some tracks, increasing the track capacity on our freight main line to allow for the seamless running of a new line up to here in the near future, and we're going to continue with that in today's episode. As mentioned, I have gone through between episode 19 and this one and included and added in all of the signals along the new stretches of track that we constructed, so that's all ready to go. All we need to do is head to the opposite side of the line and connect in the stone quarry to the line, because if you remember, we didn't actually connect it into our freight line, but we do have the station there ready and waiting for us to go ahead and connect it. So if we head up here, we can see our station up here at Allentown Quarry, and we can see roughly where we want to connect it in. Now we have a nice long stretch here, and I think this is going to be the ideal point to get the lines across, away and up towards Allentown. So let's get started straight away, and we'll go about halfway between the two sets of signals, so somewhere around about here, and we'll first of all cross over onto the opposite side of the tracks like this. Decent enough speed there, 60 miles per hour, so rapid enough for what we need. And then what we're going to do is branch off from the main line with a new set of tracks, and even though they are running parallel right here, they are immediately going to break away and make their way towards Allentown. Being mindful here of not only the speed but the gradient that we're dealing with. We don't want it to be too severe. So let's just get our bearings. Yep, we're going in roughly the right direction, give or take, and I think we can afford a little bit of straight track here. Where's this straight bit? Let's see. Oh, there it is, just there. So we'll run pretty straight and true for a short while, and now what we're going to do is, starting from the station at the quarry of Allentown, we're going to run some lines out to meet the tracks that we've just been working on. So we're going to need the usual diamond setup on approach here, which is easy to accomplish because our tracks are nice and straight and level. And where's our tracks? There they are. I think we may have run straight a little bit too far. If we go back as far as the tunnel there, I think that's going to be set us up in a good angle to do a straight shot connection here without it curving one way than the other too excessively. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Let's just change the bridge style there. Perfect. So we've got the top speed all the way through this, apart from where it crosses over our existing tracks, which is not a problem. So now let's do the signals for all of this that we've just constructed. So we need one there for the stone trains. We'll need one there for the oil trains, and nothing should be running on these tracks, but we'll put one there anyway just for completion. We have signals here to clear the junction that way. We have these to clear it in the other way, but we do need a signal over here to clear it for the trains heading towards the quarry. From here on out, it is just a simple case of putting in some blocking signals along here. And there we go. We are now up to the diamond, and let's just put a clearing signal for departure from the station as well. Right, before we do anything else, I'm just going to run along the edges of all this with the smoothing tool, just to take out some of the worst excesses of the terraforming we've had to do when we've been putting down the rail lines. There we go, that just smooths that off just a touch. And now we're ready to actually set up the line running from the quarry to the construction materials plant. So let's name it first of all. So this is Allentown. In fact, let's call it Hartfield Brickworks Stone Freight. Then we know where it's heading to. Colour scheme will be a slightly darker shade of the grey. Let's just pick it up, make sure it has actually taken the colour change there. No, it hadn't. Now it has. And we're going from the Allentown quarry with a full load, of course. And there's no harm in us waiting for a full load. And we're coming all the way up here. No, we're not going that far. It's not Hartfield, I do beg your pardon, it is Hartford. Forgive my mistake there. And then we're coming into the Hartford Construction Materials plant. Let's make sure we're using the tracks that we'd just constructed in the previous episode, and so far we are. So that's good, it's staying away from everything else. Staying away over here. We are bypassing through there, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. Okay, so here we are not staying separate. So if we do that and then that, we will be staying separate on the new lines. And what line are you running on? Okay, you're running on this line down here. So again, what we want to do is make sure coming down this way and back along this way. Okay, you cannot get to there, you say. But you can come down here. That's all connected. I don't understand. Have I put the wrong signal there, perhaps? There we go. I must have clicked the signal next door. And then we cross over. So this is the line we've just constructed. And we should now be in Allentown, and we are. Wonderful. So let's close that little menu down, head over to Worcester and purchase our trains to run this line. And I think we will go ahead and utilise the Class 9000 on this. It's a fair distance and we can really overload the trains, or in terms of the consist anyway, due to the sheer raw power that the Class 9000 does provide. So let's go for, should we go for 300 capacity? And we'll say, do we think one will be enough to begin with? I think possibly, so we'll start with just the one. And then we're going to head towards where we can, get your words out. Head towards where we can see, and it's there. We still need to change the line name. So let's quickly do that. It's not Hartfield, it is Hartford. There we go. Right, so that train will make its way down. It's going to have to go to Allentown first, which is fine because that's where it needs to go first. So I'm not sure why I'm saying that like it's a big concern, because it really isn't. What we can do now is set up the line from Hartford into the Jersey City Freight Hub. Now what we're going to need to do now is bring online some of these extra tracks that we have available over here. Now nothing is being loaded at this station, so nothing is ever waiting for a full load. So stabling should not be a concern. So we can just go straight over into this platform here. And for future usage, let's also go into that platform there as well, like so. So then that one is ready for us. Just smooth some of that off there. And then what we're going to need to do is, before we set up the line to bring the bricks down into the Jersey City Freight Hub, we're going to need to sort out how we're going to handle the final leg of the deliveries. As I said, for Edison and for Jersey City, it'll be a simple case of using some trucks. However, for Yonkers and for Queens, we are going to have to utilise this port here. because they'll be going to both Yonkers and to Queens, we will need an extra platform at this station. So let's go ahead and add that first of all. In fact, let's just increase them just a fraction like so. And I think the first one we will focus on will be Jersey City, because that's nice and easy. We're going from this freight hub here to a delivery point inside of Jersey City. So let's have a look. Where is going to be the ideal location for this? I think just there. So let's set up this delivery line. So we are going from this station, the Jersey Freight Hub, over to there. We're not going to do the full load orders, but we are going to make sure they are only taking bricks. Right, it needs to be red colour because it is bricks and not stone, so let's just change that. And can we have it so our vehicles come in here perhaps and out of that way? I think we can. So let's go ahead and put some waypoints in. Let's put them on all of the entrances like so, because we might need to use the other ones in the future. So after Birch Street, if you come this way, and then if we put you onto platform... Okay, no, you're doing weird things there. I don't like that. Yeah, that's fine. What about if we tell you to come out via this waypoint? Right, so rather than just doing this, you're going to do this, which is more than a little bizarre. So let's forget that idea and just have you do that. Okay, so there is some cross-contamination, so to speak, in this central area, which we might have to be mindful of in the future. However, nothing is waiting for a full load, so it shouldn't cause us too many issues. Let's now name this line. So this is our Jersey City bricks delivery. There we go. Do we have a hub? Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and purchase the vehicles, and we'll stick with the Mack AC tarpaulin trucks, and we'll have 6 of those. They need to be set to high maintenance because they're going into Jersey City, so noise pollution is a concern, and set them on their way. So now we can set up our first bricks freight line from Hartford into Jersey City Freight Hub. So we are going from Hartford Brickworks. At some point we might need stabling in here, depending on how many trains we have delivering the bricks. But for now we'll do without. What do we have here? The Alco HH600, a little diesel shunter, and the Ford Model 77 with side stakes and tarpaulin. So they might be worth looking into as an upgrade. For now we need to focus on finishing this line. So we want the red colour scheme. Use platform 3 at Jersey. And let's just trace your route and make sure you're not doing anything silly. First of all, we'll do this so we set up the loading orders at Hartford. Right. So could you come out on this track? Let's see. Let's give you that there. Yes. So that's keeping you separate there. I don't know why these lines come in and out of view there. That's a little bit strange, but what the heck. And in fact, can we have you come in that way? Yes. So that keeps them separate on this little bit here, but it's still able to come its way over here into the freight hub, so that's okay. Let's keep following it back, see if we can separate it anywhere else, or if we need to separate it anywhere else for that matter. So you're using this line. How many do we have running down here? We just have 2. The brickworks and the food. Well, that's fine. And yep, you're using the bypass over there, which is fantastic. Doing reasonable stuff down here. Now you're now sharing with the stone, but you have to do that if you're going to branch off to Hartford. Yep, all looking good. And yep, up to Hartford. Yeah, we'll take that. That's not a bad setup. So this will be Jersey. In fact, let's call it Hartford to Jersey. Hartford, Jersey, bricks, freight. There we go. Okay, so now we're able to purchase the train for that. I think the Class 9000 would be overkill for this because it's not going to be a huge train. So we'll relegate ourselves back down to the 282 Mikado, which is still a more than capable train for what we need. And we then want the flat car with the side stakes, and shall we say 12 wagons, 144 capacity. That seems reasonable enough to me. We'll start with just the one, and then we'll send it on its way. Hartford to Jersey bricks freight. Okay, so as I said, or as I alluded to a moment ago, we might need to consider stabling, because if we do have 2 trains picking up the bricks, then the bricks train could end up blocking in any incoming stone. So let's quickly tend to that now while it's in our minds. So we'll have triple track down here for a distance, and this is where either the stone or the bricks trains will make their way in. Doesn't matter which, as long as they're separate. And as we emerge from the tunnel, we will then come back together like that. Let's chuck down a couple of signals, and we'll just match up with our existing signal spacing like this. And then we're going to need a couple just there. Okay, wonderful. So which one do we want to use? Well, let's just have a look at trains first of all. The first one I come to, which is, there we go, it's the first one I clicked on. So the Hartford one, on its way into Hartford Brickworks, its last waypoint is going to be down that track. There we go. So, as you know, if we have a brick train or a brick freight train being loaded here, and one waiting here, and this has run out of stone, our stone trains can bypass all of that, get onto their separate platform, and provide the stone needed to give a full load to the waiting brick freight train. Wonderful. Okay, so that's the first load of bricks supplied into our little metropolis, or what will hopefully develop into a metropolis down here, and then we are supplying Jersey City. Edison, as I alluded to, we would probably have to do some jiggery-pokery with our roads. I mean, theoretically we could come through New York and over here, but it's a bit of a distance to be travelling. However, what we could do is put some street access on this side, like this. And then if we connect these together, and we'll use country roads for this. And if we can get this out and into there nicely, ooh, that's nice. And up on to the ground level here. And then we want this to continue climbing upwards because we like it to leap over our cargo line. Maybe not quite that steep. I think if we go from here and now go level, this will give us a bridge. Yes, it will. With the new style. Plenty of clearance, hopefully. Yes, we have. Perfect. And we could have it elevated the entire way, but that would be a little bit silly, I think. So let's stretch it back down to ground level, and we'll go back to raised earthworks here, like that. And then will you give me a bridge there? How does that look? Well, let's first of all go for that style. We don't have any ships coming down here, so don't need to worry about keeping the waterways available and open. I think that would work quite nicely. So that way, if we want to deliver to Edison, we can come out this way into Edison, and it's a lot more direct, and we're not having to add to congestion in Jersey City, not New York City as I called it a few moments ago. Beg pardon over that. Okay, how's New York doing on its supply? We're hitting 50%. That's not too bad at all. And we do have plenty of goods waiting at the terminal to be collected and then delivered. What's going off here? Okay, so we're having some traffic build up from back here. This little bit here seems to be causing us issues. Okay, we could get rid of that. It does reroute our buses a little, but that's okay. It should mean this flows a little bit more freely, and I think if we then claim ownership on these roads here and these roads here, the AI will not interfere with them, I think, but we shall see. So this should now start clearing up. The other thing we can do along here, which will help, is add in a bus lane all the way down here, because our delivery vehicles can use the bus lane, but the private transportation, so the residents' cars, cannot, and that means they can just cut straight on through. So this traffic between Manhattan and I guess they're going to Queens or to Brooklyn is something we certainly want to look into, perhaps in the next episode. And I'm thinking maybe a metro system linking the likes of Jersey to New York to Brooklyn and to Queens. And if that only gets rid of, say, even 10-20% of this amount of traffic, it's going to make a nice difference. So that's what we're going for. We might need traffic lights on some of these, looking at this. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is experiment with having traffic lights on all the four-way junctions, like that. Let's just speed things up a little so we can see what sort of benefit, if any, this is going to provide us. We're going to want traffic lights on this one as well, because it is quite busy, and if we can regulate it, it might overall improve the flow of the traffic, even if it's a lot more stop and go. I think that seems to be working pretty well so far, so we'll leave it as is for now, and we can come back to that and make some tweaks if we think it may be necessary a little bit later. Right, has our train arrived over here yet? I'm going to guess it has not. No, but it can't be too far away now. No, it's not. It's pretty close. Last couple of kilometers, let's say. Let's just have a quick look at this train. It's a big train. It's a long train. That's a proper cargo train, that, isn't it? And it's pulling that with no dramas whatsoever. Okay, I think that's about the place we'll leave this one for today. A bit shorter than normal, but it is what it is. I didn't want to get too invested in overhauling the metro system that we don't have. Well, we have a small metro system to get people to the Grand Central Terminal, but yes, to actually get people between the various districts, we don't have anything as of yet, and that's going to be a full dedicated episode in of itself. Oh, you may notice all these platforms have been linked in now. It was bugging me just having them sat empty, so there's nothing on them, but they are connected into the lines, so that's now done. And the other thing I did is, because the Amtrak Northeast is a stopping service, I did go ahead and change out for rail buses. So we've got, what's the capacity on these? 120, so a lot more capacity available to us, and we're still running at a lovely profit, as we can see. I did experiment here where we got these two very costly years using the MILW electric trains. However, they were just too costly to run, as we can see, so in the end I've gone for the rail bus. This will then allow us to use high-speed electric trains for an express service. So for now, let's just pick on a vehicle to take a little cab ride on, and I think we're gonna go for, what do we have here? Yeah, let's jump on one of our fuel freight trains heading towards Boston, because why not? We might not make it all the way to Boston on this cab ride outro, but we'll at least have a nice little journey up towards Connecticut and Massachusetts. So I hope you've enjoyed the video and you are continuing to enjoy the series overall, and if you have enjoyed the video, then the like button is down below, and hitting that is always greatly appreciated by yours truly. And for those of you who do engage and leave the likes and the comments, I thank you. It does mean a lot, and it does make a big help to the growth of the channel and helping it reach that wider audience. And speaking of wider audiences, if any of you haven't yet subscribed and you feel like you'd like to do so, then obviously that's always welcome as well, and it is a big help to the channel growth overall. As you may or may not be aware, we are approaching 900 subscribers, which is more than I ever really thought we'd get when I started out. Again, don't have any long-term plans or goals or anything like that. It's just something I'll continue to do as long as I enjoy it, and you know, I will mix it up, trying different titles and the likes as I've done previously. But yeah, while I'm still getting views and, you know, decent feedback and support, I'll continue. So yeah. But for now, you know, all that means for me to say is, as always, ladies and gentlemen, take very good care of yourselves. It's ta-ta for now.